I died for 11 minutes. My name is Graham Mercer. I was a private jet pilot for more than 40 years. I flew rich people, business owners, actors, and families from one city to another. I loved my job. I liked being in the air. I liked the quiet inside the cockpit. And I never thought I would die while flying. But one morning, that is exactly what happened. It was a cold morning in November. I woke up at 5:30. My wife, Elaine, was still sleeping. I went downstairs and made myself some coffee. I sat at the kitchen table and checked my phone. I had one message from my son. He had written, "Dad, call me when you have time." I looked at the message for a few seconds. Then I put my phone down. My son and I had not talked much in the last few months. We were not fighting. We were just busy. That is how it happens in families sometimes. One person gets busy, then the other person gets busy. Days become weeks, and before you know it, you have not spoken to someone you love for a long time. I finished my coffee and went upstairs. Elaine was awake. She looked at me and said, "What time will you be home?" "Probably around 6, I said. She smiled. "Don't be late." "I won't." I picked up my bag. Then she said something that I still remember. "Drive carefully." I laughed. "Elaine, I'm flying today." She laughed too. "Then fly carefully." I kissed her forehead and left. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I reached the private airport. My jet was already waiting. It was a small private jet with 2 engines. I had flown that aircraft many times. I knew every sound it made, every switch, every light, every small movement. That day, 3 people were flying with me. The owner of the jet was a businessman named Russell Dane. His daughter Megan was also coming. The third passenger was Russell's business partner. We were flying from Colorado to California. It was a normal flight. The weather was good. There was not much wind. The sky was clear. At 7:18, we took off. Everything was normal. Megan came into the cockpit after a while. She was sitting behind me, but she wanted to see the controls. "Is it okay if I sit here for a few minutes?" she asked. "Sure," I said. She sat in the extra seat beside me. She looked at all the buttons and screens. "There are so many things here," she said. I smiled. "You get used to them. Do you still enjoy flying?" I looked out at the sky. "Every time." She smiled. Then she asked, "Are you ever scared?" I thought for a moment. "Sometimes." She looked surprised. "You are?" "Of course. Anyone who says they are never scared is probably lying." She laughed. We talked for a few minutes. Then she went back to her seat. About an hour later, we were flying at a high altitude. Everything was still normal. I was checking the instruments when one of the lights blinked. I looked at the panel. Nothing looked wrong. I waited a few seconds. The light went away. I continued flying. Then my radio stopped working. I tried to contact air traffic control. Nothing happened. I changed the radio frequency. Still nothing. I checked the system again. Everything looked normal. I was trying to understand what had happened when Russell came into the cockpit. "Captain, we have a small problem." I turned around. "What happened?" "The lights in the back went off." "Only for a few seconds?" "Yes." "Okay, I will check it." He went back. I looked at the electrical system. There was a small problem, nothing serious. I had seen things like this before. I was not worried. Then about 5 minutes later, I felt something strange. My chest started hurting. At first, it was not very painful. I thought maybe I was tired. I took a deep breath. The pain stayed. I moved my left hand. It felt weak. I looked at my hand. My fingers were shaking. I tried to move them again. This time, they barely moved. I knew something was wrong. I looked at the controls. They started looking blurry. I rubbed my eyes. For a moment, everything became clear again. Then it became blurry once more. Megan suddenly came back into the cockpit. "Captain?" I looked at her. She was standing near the door. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said. But I was not fine. My breathing became difficult. I tried to reach for the radio. My arm felt heavy. I could hear Megan calling my name. "Captain." I wanted to answer her. I really did, but I could not speak. My head started feeling heavy. The sounds around me became very quiet. The engines were still running. The plane was still flying. but I could hardly hear them. I looked at the sky through the window. Then I looked at the instruments one last time, and everything went dark. I did not know how long I was gone. I did not know where I was. I did not even know if I was alive. There was nothing around me, no airplane, no sky, no sound. Then I heard a man's voice. "Graham." I opened my eyes. I was standing somewhere I had never seen before. There was no airport, no road, no buildings, just a large empty field. I looked at my hands. They looked younger, much younger. I touched my face. I could not understand what was happening. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around. A man was walking toward me. He looked about 50 years old. He stopped a few feet away. He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, "You have only 11 minutes." I stared at him. 11 minutes for what? He did not answer. Instead, he gave me a small photograph. I looked at it. My hands started shaking. It was a picture of my family. My wife was in the picture. My daughter was there too. But there was one person standing beside them who should not have been there. My son. The same son who had sent me a message that morning. But there was something wrong. The picture was old. Very old. My son was only a little boy in it. He was 6 years old. I looked at the man. "Where am I?" He looked at me and said, "You are about to find out." Then I heard a sound behind me. It was the sound of an airplane engine. I turned around, and what I saw made me stop breathing. It was my own private jet. But it was not flying. It was sitting on the ground. Smoke was coming from one of its engines, and people were running toward it. Then I saw someone being carried away from the aircraft. I took a step forward. My heart started beating fast, because the person they were carrying was me. I stood there and watched. I could not move. 2 men were carrying my body away from the plane. My head was hanging to one side. My eyes were closed. My shirt was open at the neck. There was blood on my face. I looked at the man standing beside me. "What is happening?" He did not answer. I looked back at my body. "Am I dead?" He finally looked at me. "Yes." I shook my head. "No, that can't be right." He said nothing. I walked toward my body. I wanted to touch it. I wanted to wake myself up. But before I could reach it, everything around me changed. The airport disappeared. The field disappeared. Suddenly, I was standing inside a hospital room. My wife was sitting beside a bed. She was crying. I knew that room. It was the hospital near our home. I'd been there many times to visit friends. But this time, I was the person lying in the bed. Elaine was holding my hand. A doctor was standing near her. He said, "We are trying everything we can." Elaine looked at him. "Will he wake up?" The doctor did not answer right away. Then he said, "We don't know." I looked at Elaine. She looked much older than she had looked that morning. Her face was tired. Her hair was messy. She had been crying for a long time. I walked closer. "Elaine." She could not hear me. I tried again. "Elaine, I'm here." Nothing. I stood beside her. She kept holding my hand. Then she said something that broke my heart. I should have talked to him more. I looked at her. "What?" She lowered her head. "We always thought there would be more time." I felt something inside me. I wanted to tell her that she had nothing to feel guilty about, but she could not hear me. Then another person entered the room. My son, Ethan. He was 34 years old. He looked terrible. His eyes were red. He walked to the bed and stood there. He did not touch me. He just looked at me. Then he said, "Dad." His voice broke. "I was going to call you." I looked at him. I remembered his message. "Dad, call me when you have time." That was what he had written. He had wanted to talk to me, and I had ignored it. I felt tears in my eyes, but I could not cry. I had no idea if I even had a body anymore. Ethan sat down. He put his hands over his face. Then he said, "I wanted to tell you something." Elaine looked at him. "What?" Ethan looked at my face. "I got the job." Elaine smiled through her tears. "What job?" "The one Dad wanted me to take." I remembered it. 6 months earlier, I had told Ethan to apply for a job with an aviation company. He had refused. He said he wanted to do something different. We had argued about it. I told him he was wasting his life. He told me I did not understand him. That was the last real argument we had. I thought he was angry with me. Maybe he was. But now he was sitting beside my bed, crying. I moved closer. "Ethan, I'm sorry." He could not hear me. Then something strange happened. The hospital room became quiet. Everyone stopped moving. The doctor stopped. Elaine stopped. Ethan stopped. Even the clock on the wall stopped. I looked around. The man from the field was standing behind me. "Why did you bring me here?" He looked at the people in the room. "Because you need to see what you left behind." I looked at him. "I don't want to die." He gave me a sad smile. "You already did." I shook my head. "No." He looked at me. "You have 11 minutes. 11 minutes to do what?" He did not answer. He walked toward the hospital bed. Then he touched the monitor. The screen changed. I saw numbers, my heart rate, my blood pressure, my oxygen level. Then I saw something I could not understand. The time on the screen was moving backward. 10:59, 10:58, 10:57. I looked at him. "What does that mean?" He said, "Your time is running." "Running toward what?" He looked at me. "Your choice." Then the hospital room disappeared again. I was standing in my old house, but it was not the house as it looked now. It was the house from 30 years ago. The walls were a different color. The furniture was different. I could hear children laughing. I turned around. There was my daughter, Claire. She was 8 years old. She was sitting on the floor with a box of toys. I watched her for a moment. Then I saw myself. I was sitting on the sofa. I was holding a phone. I was working. My little daughter came over. "Dad?" My younger self looked at her. "What? Will you play with me?" "I can't right now." She stood there quietly, just for 5 minutes. I looked at my younger self. I wanted to shout, "Put the phone down!" But he did not hear me. He kept working. Claire walked away. I followed her. She went into her room. She closed the door. Then she sat on her bed. She was crying. I felt terrible. I had forgotten that day, completely forgotten it. I had remembered the big things in my life, my first flight, my first promotion, buying our house, my daughter's wedding, my son's graduation. But I had forgotten this small moment. 5 minutes. That was all she wanted. I turned around. The man was standing in the doorway. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because you remember the important days." He paused. "But people remember the small days." I looked down. I did not know what to say. Then I heard a voice. "Dad?" I looked up. Claire was standing in front of me, but she was not 8 anymore. She was 40 now. She looked exactly like she did today. She was holding something in her hand, a letter. She looked at me. "I wrote this for you." I reached for it. My hand went through the letter. I could not touch it. "What does it say?" She looked down. "I never gave it to you." "Why?" "Because I was scared." "Scared of what?" She looked at me. "That you would not care." Those words hurt more than anything I had seen. I looked at the man. "Can I go back?" He was quiet. "Can I go back to my family?" He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, "Maybe." My heart filled with hope. "Maybe?" He nodded. "But first you have to understand why you were given those 11 minutes. I looked at him. "What happens when the 11 minutes are over?" He did not answer. Instead, he pointed toward the door. The door slowly opened. Behind it was my airplane, the same cockpit. But this time I could see everything clearly. I saw myself sitting in the pilot's seat. I saw Megan standing behind me. I saw Russell running toward the cockpit. And then I saw something I had never noticed during the actual flight. Someone was standing behind Russell, a fourth person, a person who was never supposed to be on that flight. He was wearing a dark jacket, and he was holding something in his hand. I looked at the man beside me. "Who is that?" He looked at me. "You know him." I stared through the doorway. The man in the dark jacket turned his head. His face became clear. My stomach dropped. Because I knew him. I had not seen him for more than 20 years, but I knew exactly who he was. And suddenly I understood why that flight had gone wrong. The man beside me whispered, "Now you remember." And the 11-minute clock changed, 10 o'clock. The man in the dark jacket turned his head. His face became clear. I knew him. It was Victor Hale. For a few seconds, I could not speak. Victor had worked with me when I was a young pilot. We had flown together for almost 10 years. Then one day he left the company. I had not seen him in more than 20 years. I looked at the man beside me. "Victor is dead." "I know." I looked back through the doorway. Victor was standing behind Russell. He was holding a small black bag. I watched him open it. Inside was a small metal box. I had seen that box before. It belonged to the aircraft maintenance team. My heart started beating faster. "What is he doing?" The man did not answer. I stepped closer. I could now see the cockpit clearly. Victor placed something inside the electrical panel, then he closed the panel. He looked around. No one had seen him. I suddenly remembered that morning. The lights, the radio, the strange problem with the electrical system. I had thought it was a small fault. It was not. Someone had caused it. I turned toward the man. "Victor did this?" "Yes." "Why?" "You knew the answer once." I shook my head. "I don't remember." He looked at me. "You forgot a lot of things, Graham." The scene changed again. I was back in an old airport. It was 25 years earlier. I saw myself standing beside Victor. We were both young. We had just finished a flight. Victor was smiling. He put his hand on my shoulder. "One day, Graham, we will have our own company." I laughed. "You can't even keep your room clean." He laughed. We were good friends, very good friends. Then I remembered the day everything changed. Victor had made a serious mistake during a flight. I had reported it. He lost his pilot's license for a short time. He blamed me. He told everyone I had destroyed his career, but that was not true. I had only told the truth. After that day, he disappeared from my life. I had not thought about him in years. Until now. The scene changed again. I was back inside the jet. I could see myself sitting in the pilot's seat. The clock showed 9:07. Megan was behind me. The electrical system started failing. Then my chest started hurting. I watched myself reach for the radio. My hand stopped. I watched my own body fall forward. Megan screamed, "Captain!" Russell ran into the cockpit. He tried to help me, but I was already unconscious. The airplane started losing altitude. For a few seconds, nobody knew what to do. Then Megan sat in my seat. She had no pilot training, but she remembered something I had told her earlier. "If anything ever happens to me, keep the plane level first." She grabbed the controls. She kept the nose steady. Russell called for help. The emergency signal finally worked. Another pilot from the ground began talking to Megan. "Keep the wings level." Megan was crying. "I can't do this." The voice answered, "Yes, you can." She kept flying. Then the plane landed safely. I watched the wheels touch the runway. Everyone survived. Everyone except me. I turned away. I could not watch anymore. Then I heard the man behind me. "You still have 9 minutes." I looked at him. 9 minutes? He nodded. 9 minutes to understand. Understand what? He pointed toward the airport. "Look at your family." The scene changed. I saw Elaine sitting alone in our kitchen. It was evening. The house was quiet. My chair was empty. My coffee cup was still sitting on the table. Elaine picked it up. She looked at it for a long time, then she put it back. My son Ethan came into the kitchen. He sat beside her. Neither of them spoke. After a few minutes, Ethan said, "Mom, Dad knew I was going to call him." Elaine looked at him. "Yes. I should have called earlier." "You did." He never answered. Elaine looked down. He was flying. Ethan became quiet. Then he said, "I wanted to tell him I was proud of him." Elaine looked at him. "Why didn't you tell him before?" Ethan wiped his eyes. "I thought there would be another day." I closed my eyes. That sentence stayed with me. Another day. I had lived my whole life believing there would always be another day. Another dinner. Another phone call. Another birthday. Another chance to say sorry. Another chance to tell someone you love them. But sometimes there is no another day. The man beside me looked at me. "You spent your life flying people to places they wanted to reach." He paused. "But you often forgot to reach the people waiting for you." I did not answer, because he was right. I thought about all the dinners I missed, all the birthdays I almost forgot, all the times Elaine waited for me, all the times my children wanted to talk. I always believed work was important, and it was, but I had confused being responsible with being present. Then I heard a phone ringing. I turned around. It was my phone, the same phone I had left on the kitchen table that morning. The screen showed one message. "Dad, please call me. I need to tell you something." I looked at the man. "Can I call him?" He said nothing. "Please." Still nothing. I grabbed the phone. This time my hand could touch it. I pressed Ethan's name. The phone started ringing. Once, twice, 3 times. Then someone answered. "Dad?" I could hear my son's voice. I started crying. "Ethan?" There was silence. Then he said, "Dad, is that you?" I looked at the man beside me. He was watching the clock. 8 o'clock. I only had 8 minutes left. I held the phone tighter. "Ethan, listen to me." "I'm listening." "I need you to do something for me." "What?" I took a breath. "Go to the old airport." He became quiet. "Why?" "Because there is something you need to find." "What am I looking for?" I looked through the doorway. Victor was standing beside the aircraft. He was looking directly at me. Then he smiled. I felt cold. I said, "Look for the black metal box." Ethan asked, "Dad, what is in it?" I looked at Victor again, and then I finally remembered why Victor had wanted me dead. It contains the truth about what happened 25 years ago. The phone suddenly went silent. "Ethan?" "Nothing." "Ethan!" The line was dead. Then the man beside me said, "You should not have told him." I turned toward him. "Why?" He looked at me with a serious face. "Because now they know he is looking." I stood completely still. Who knows? The man did not answer. I looked around. The airport was empty again. Victor was gone. The airplane was gone. Even the old buildings had disappeared. Only the man and I were standing there. "Tell me who knows." He looked at the clock. 7:42. "Your time is getting short." "I don't care about the time." I stepped closer. "I want to know what happened." He looked at me for a few seconds. And then he said, "You have spent your whole life looking at the sky. You forgot to look at the people standing beside you." I shook my head. "I don't understand." "You will." Then I heard a car engine. A black car stopped near the old airport building. Ethan got out. I stared at him. He was holding the phone in one hand. In the other hand, he had a flashlight. He looked around. "Dad?" I tried to answer. "Ethan!" He could not hear me. He walked toward the old hangar. I followed him. He opened the door. Inside, it was dark. There were old tools, boxes, broken chairs, and aircraft parts. Ethan turned on his flashlight. He walked toward the back wall. I remembered that place. I had worked there many times. Then Ethan saw something. A small black box. He picked it up. My heart started beating fast. "That's it." He opened the box. Inside was a small memory card and several old papers. He looked at the papers. His face changed. Then someone came into the hangar. Ethan quickly turned around. It was Victor. I shouted, "Ethan, run!" But he could not hear me. Victor closed the door behind him. Ethan stepped back. "Who are you?" Victor looked at him. "My name is Victor." "How do you know my father?" Victor smiled. "I knew him a long time ago." Ethan held the box tightly. "What do you want?" Victor walked closer. "Give me the box." "No." Victor stopped. "You don't understand what you have. My father told me to find it." Victor looked surprised. "Your father?" Ethan nodded. "He called me." Victor's face became serious. "He shouldn't have been able to do that." I looked at the man beside me. "What does that mean?" He said nothing. Inside the hangar, Victor moved closer. Ethan stepped back. Then Ethan's phone rang. He looked at the screen. It was Elaine. He answered. "Mom?" Elaine's voice came through. "Where are you?" "I'm at the old airport." There was a long silence. Then Elaine said, "Why?" "I found something Dad wanted me to find." She became quiet. "What did you find?" Ethan looked at Victor. "A box." Elaine said, "Come home." "But Mom..." "Now." Ethan looked confused. "Why?" Elaine's voice became shaky. "Because your father told me never to go back there." Ethan looked at the box. "What?" Elaine took a breath. "He told me something happened there before you were born." I looked at her. I had forgotten that conversation. Then everything came back. 25 years ago, Victor had made a dangerous mistake during a flight. I had reported him. But there was more. That night, Victor came to my house. He was angry. He stood outside my door. He said, "You ruined my life." I told him, "You did that yourself." He looked at me. Then he said, "You will regret this." I thought he was just angry. I was wrong. For years, he watched me. He followed my career. He waited. Then he disappeared. Until that morning. The man beside me looked at the clock. 5:30. I looked at him. "What happens when the time reaches 0? He finally answered. "You go." Where? You will find out. I looked back at Ethan. Victor was still standing in front of him. Ethan suddenly threw the black box toward the other side of the room. Victor turned. Ethan ran. He reached the door. Victor grabbed his arm. They struggled. Then Ethan hit him with the flashlight. Victor fell. Ethan ran outside. He got into his car. He drove away. I watched him disappear down the road. I felt relief. But it did not last long. The man beside me said, "You have one more thing to see." The world changed again. I was standing in my kitchen. Elaine was sitting at the table. She was holding my old flight jacket. She pressed it against her chest. Then she looked toward the empty chair. "Graham." I stood beside her. "I am here." She closed her eyes. "I wish you had stayed home that day." I wanted to touch her. My hand moved toward her shoulder. This time she suddenly stopped. She looked up. For 1 second her eyes met mine. I froze. She whispered, "Graham?" I could not speak. She stood up. She looked around the room. "Are you here?" I nodded. She could not see me clearly, but somehow she knew. She smiled through her tears. "I knew you wouldn't leave without saying goodbye." I started crying. "I'm sorry." She sat down again. "You always worked so hard." "I know." "You missed a lot." "I know. But you loved us." I nodded. "Yes." She looked at my chair. Then she said, "That's enough for me." Those words gave me peace. I looked at the clock. 2 o'clock. The man was standing near the door. I knew what was coming. I walked toward him. "Can I see my children one more time?" He nodded. The room changed. I saw Ethan. I saw Claire. I saw my grandchildren. They were all together at my house. They were talking about me, not about my career, not about the accident. They were talking about the small things. My bad jokes, my terrible cooking, the way I always fell asleep during movies, the way I called everyone by the wrong name. Claire was laughing while crying. Ethan smiled. "He always told me to call him more." Claire looked at him. "Then call me more too." They both laughed, and for the first time since I had died, I felt calm. I understood something. I had spent 40 years flying through the sky. I had taken people to beautiful places. I had seen sunsets from above the clouds, but the best part of my life had never been the airplanes. It had been the people waiting for me when I came home. The man beside me looked at the clock. 0:30. I looked at him. "Am I ready?" He smiled. "Yes." 0:20. I thought about Elaine. 0:15. I thought about Ethan. 0:10. I thought about Claire as a little girl asking me to play with her. 0:05. I closed my eyes. Then I heard my son's voice. "Dad." I opened my eyes. He was standing in front of me. Not the grown man, not the little boy, both. I saw every version of him at once. He smiled. "I got your message." I smiled back. "I love you." He answered, "I love you too." Then everything became quiet. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the hospital. I heard a machine beeping. My chest hurt. My mouth was dry. Someone was holding my hand. I opened my eyes. Elaine was sitting beside me. She started crying. "Graham?" I tried to speak. Only one word came out. "Elaine." She covered her mouth. A doctor rushed into the room. People started moving around me. I looked at the clock. 11 minutes had passed. Only 11 minutes. But those 11 minutes changed my entire life. I survived. The doctors later told me my heart had stopped for 11 minutes. They did not know how I came back. I did not tell them everything. I told Elaine, I told Ethan, I told Claire. And after that day, I changed. I retired from flying. I started having dinner with my family. I called my children without waiting for a reason. I visited my grandchildren more. And sometimes I simply sat with Elaine and talked. No phone, no work, no excuses, just us. I also went back to the old airport. The police found the black box Ethan had discovered. Inside were records that proved Victor had been planning the attack for years. He was arrested. I never saw him again, but I stopped thinking about revenge. Life had already given me something better, a second chance. I am 70 now. I don't know how many years I have left. Maybe 20, maybe 10, maybe 1. None of us knows, but I know this now. Do not wait for the perfect day to call someone. Do not wait for a birthday to say, I love you. Do not wait until someone is gone before you tell them what they meant to you. I spent most of my life flying people toward their destinations, and it took me 11 minutes of death to understand my own destination. It was never the sky. It was home. And if there is one thing I want you to remember from my story, it is this: the people you love do not need your perfect life, they need your time. Give it to them while you still can.